Hey, it's Brian here from Focused Idea, and we are live. I'm streaming. Where am I streaming right now? A couple of Facebook pages, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So if you got anything you want to say, any comments, whatever, go ahead and put them into chat. I will respond to them as I notice them. Anyway, like I said, Brian here. And yesterday we talked a little bit about getting a website online. If you don't already have one, you should. Kind of surprises me every day when I hear that businesses sometimes don't have a site already, especially in the year 2020. But if you don't have one, hey, that's okay. Go ahead and get that taken care of. If you do have one, if it's more than a few years old, it may not be mobile responsive, like we talked about yesterday. Um, Being mobile responsive is important. Oh, by the way, wearing my gratuitous shirt, sorry. Not really. If you need to do business and want a site or SEO or pay-per-click, give me a shout. My teams, we can take care of you, no problem at all. Anyway, um, if you're not mobile or if your site's old, like 5 or 6 years old, you want to go over to Google and make sure that it's mobile compliant. You can just put your domain name in and look for it to be mobile compliant. Just look for Google Mobile Tester. Anyway, today I wanted to chat a little bit about how to find people and find people that you want to sell to. So um, let's see. First question. I'm going to read a little bit from my from one of my ebooks. Um, so the first question you need to ask yourself is who exactly is your market? Uh, and if you say it's everybody, we've got a problem because your market shouldn't be everybody. It should just be, a select group. We call it nichifying or nichify or whatever, Niche. Pick a niche and work within that niche. So find out who the best people are for your product and figure that out first. Figure out your market before you do anything else. If you don't, you're going to just waste a bunch of money on advertising and advertising to the wrong people. So, want to do your best to get your market defined. Good way to define that or figure it out is to compare it to fishing. Um, let's see how I have this written. The absolute easiest way to catch a fish is to put your bait in a barrel that contains a whole bunch of angry fish. Now, of course, that sounds like an oversimplification, but it's the truth. They're all grouped together. They're hungry. You've got the right food. You drop the bait in, and they bite. It's kind of the whole fish in a barrel kind of thing. The three-step secret to successful marketing of anything is you got to reach the right market with the right message at the right time. And it really is as simple as that. So sticking with fishing, you've got the right market. You've found them. They're all in their barrel. You've got the right message. You've got a fat, jiggly, juicy worm to feed them. And they're all hungry right now. So with those things in mind, do you think they're going to bite? Answer's pretty obvious. Of course they are. Now, what if you're just missing one of those secrets? One of those three steps? Scenario number one, you go fishing in your bathtub. You've got the juicy worm, fish are hungry, but you're in the wrong market. The bathtub isn't where the fish are, right? So if you don't have any fish, kind of like what I was saying, you're spending money on advertising where you don't even have a market. So make sure you've got your market figured out first. Scenario number two, you go fishing in a barrel. You found them. You know where your target audience is. But you bait your hook with Brussels sprouts. Fish don't bite on Brussels sprouts. They bite on worms, for crying out loud. So what are you going to use? Well, if you're using Brussels sprouts and you've got a bunch of hungry fish, they're not going to bite on Brussels sprouts, right? Okay. So let's go to scenario number three. You go fishing in a barrel. You found your market. You've got the right bait, but they're not hungry. You ever gone fishing in the middle of the day when the water's warm, and fish aren't biting? Um, Best times we've all figured out, at least I figured out when I was a kid, the best times are in the morning or in the evenings when the fish are biting. So anyway, fish aren't biting right now. You've got the wrong timing. Right now, we're in this super crazy time. I mean, I've never seen anything. I can't think of anybody else who's ever seen anything like what we're going through right now with this whole coronavirus thing. Okay, the timing is right for any business to do business online. So if you're not doing business online, we're just so primed. Um, Businesses are moving things to all online, video conferencing and using different team tools. So now is such a perfect time to get your business going online if you're not already. But remember, like I said, to find the right, to get your product sold, you need the right market, you need the right message, and you need the right timing. Okay. So if you're going to find the right market, most people decide they go after one gigantic market trying to sell their products and service. And it's a really expensive and frustrating thing to do. You're trying to sell to a whole bunch of people. It's that whole throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing if something sticks. And really, the way the internet works now is we can target our audience precisely, unlike all these major companies who spend millions of dollars on advertising on TV, crossing their fingers, hoping somebody's going to come and buy their stuff. Most small businesses don't have those kinds of budgets. They need to really fine tune where they're spending their money. So you want to really define that market. So find a group of fish, staying with that analogy, who've shown that they like to eat the same bait, who are hungry now, and give them that bait. Okay, give them what they want. You've got people who are buying stuff specifically. Give them what they want. Couple of ways you can find people. Go into well, not right now. Go onto Amazon. Go onto Amazon. Find niche. I don't know what kind of business you're in. It could be, well, just sticking with fishing. Say you make fishing tackle. Go on to Amazon and find the people who are buying fishing tackle. Normally I'd say you can go into a bookstore and go through the magazines and figure out what people are buying in the magazines. And if people are advertising in magazines, then obviously they're making some money. That's a good indicator on where your market is. So fish like to swim in schools. Sheep like to be in a flock. Cattle like to be in a herd. People like to also belong to groups. One of the big things, is belonging to a group or a tribe or belonging to a specific page on Facebook or whatever. A lot of people are having troubles right now because we're so used to being in groups, and now we're dealing with self-isolation stuff, and people are kind of freaking out a little bit because they're not around their groups. But they can pop onto Facebook or pop onto LinkedIn or pop on wherever. I'm doing a lot of Zoom meetings right now with clients and customers and even with friends and family, just so we can all still stay connected. So people like to be in those groups, and they like to be comfortable with like-minded people. So if you can figure out your group mentality, herd mentality, you can sell to that group of people, right? This is kind of funny. So I've got written here, independent thinkers love to discuss the benefits of independent thinking with other independent thinkers. So they really do function as a group also, right? It's kind of one of those things. It's a paradox or irony. Anyway, going back to our analogy here. So if they're all hanging out in groups, you've got your market defined. Um, Now you need to figure out what exactly they're biting on. What's the bait? And that's where we go around and we look at the magazines and we figure out what people are actually buying. Make offers similar to those. Make offers similar to what people are already buying. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. You know, you can go onto Facebook or onto Google, look at some of your competitors' ads. If they're doing well with those ads, borrow parts of them. Don't take the whole ad, you know, make it specific to you, but go ahead and twist it and tweak it and turn it around a little bit and make it your ad. We've got tools that you can use too, where we can actually look at and analyze ads and figure out what's working, what's not working, and why, and go ahead and tweak those to make them work for you even better. So figure out the right bait for those people that you're trying to sell to. And then, you know, figure out your timing. How are we going to do that? We're going to do that with our messaging, and we're going to get that message in front of the people when they're ready to buy. Right now, like I said, so many people are looking for ways to distract themselves or prepare for when all of this stuff is over. They're going to be buying. People are anxious to go out and do something. I mean, come on. How many people have gone out and bought billions of rolls of toilet paper? They're buying. Don't kid yourself and think that they're not. Yeah, they're hoarding some certain things, but it's just what people do. So figure out exactly what they're buying and how to market that to them, where they are, how to market it to them, and what their feeding time is. Okay, so it's all those three things as far as trying to sell to the perfect client. Figure out who your perfect client is, and go from there. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the message. I'll answer them. No, I got a little bit off towards the end there, but not a big deal. You get the step or the point. Define your market, then keep testing. That's probably the biggest key to this whole thing, is keep testing, figure out what works best, going over those 3 steps again, okay? You got to have the right market, you got to have the right message, and you've got to time it right. And right now we're in the absolute best time to be taking advantage of what we're involved in. So anyway, that's it for me today. Hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow. If you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you later. Have a great one.